Hey everyone, and welcome back to FAMcast. This is episode 57. I'm Trevor, and I'm here with Tim today.
It's me.
It is you. And yesterday was the end of an era. We finally got the final episode, the series finale of Game of Thrones.
Yep.
And I don't know. I know people are torn on it.
No, people aren't torn on it. Most people hate it.
Yeah, you're right. That's a better way to put it. I was trying to be nice, middle of the road, but you're right. I'd say a good number of people don't like it. I've definitely seen people that do.
Very few.
Yeah,
but you're right.
I mean, end of an era, man. Like
it is.
We've spent the past 8 or 9 years with this show.
9 years because they skipped one. So 9 years.
Right. That's crazy. So yeah, I guess if you consider that skip year, that's a long time for a TV show. Not to say that others haven't gone on that long, because they definitely have.
Some are still going on. Simpsons.
Walking Dead.
South Park.
Well, I would consider something where like the actors have to keep signing
there's an actual story, not just made up episodes.
Yeah. Like you could say,
I still watch The Walking Dead. Come fight me.
Is it good?
No,
yeah.
But I'm invested at this point.
Maybe all good things need to come to an end at some point, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's tough for any series to end, right? Like nobody wants something that they've loved for the past 9 years to just stop happening.
I think that's what makes endings always so bad. It's not so much that the ending was bad, it's that you don't want it to end, so no matter how the ending gets to you, you're mad at it.
I would agree. I think endings, like anyone's going to have a rough time having a good reception to an ending, just because people are going to be like, oh, well, I wanted to know more about this, or I wanted to see what happens to this character in 10 years. Like, yeah, we want to see where these characters go, but at the same time, you need to wrap it up at some point.
You got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I mean, The Office had the perfect ending, but that's a whole separate discussion.
Right. Yeah, I mean, some pull it off, and some like this are a little tougher, because we've seen these characters. Oh man, I don't want to get off on a tangent, but we've seen these characters develop, for better or worse. Whether that character development goes anywhere or not is a different story. I think me and you are on the same. Yeah, I think me and you are on the same page there, actually.
Yeah.
So just as maybe as an overall, I'll save that for the end. Let's save overall, just because we might change our minds a little bit. So let's start with, and I guess I should put this out there, spoilers ahead for those that haven't watched or want to watch. We're going to be talking about everything spoilers. Game of Thrones. So as far as, I'm trying to think where to start. So I'll just start with an easy question for you, Tim. Who did you think would end up on the Iron Throne? Let's say before season 8 even started.
Before season 8 even started, I'll tell you, before season 8 even started, I knew it wasn't going to be Dany.
Okay.
That would have been too obvious.
Right.
I thought. I mean, it's hard because the obvious choice for me would have been Jon.
Yeah.
Right, because at the end of season 8. You find out, or at the end of season 7, you find out that he's the actual last Targaryen, right?
Aegon.
The rightful heir. But honestly, I was voting for Gendry. I really was. That was I'm like, okay, I don't want to choose the too obvious option, right? Because it's too obvious. So who would it be? So he was probably the one where I was like, I think he could do well. So that's who I chose.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, myself, I'm in the same boat to where I wanted to see Jon. It more of out of duty, right? Not because he wanted it, but because he didn't want it.
Right.
That would make him the best for the position.
Yeah.
That's the way, and I think that's why Bran's a good. Controversy aside, I think Bran's a good choice because he's so detached. Right. He's not in it for power, money, women. He's going to be there to build a better future, right?
And he can't have offspring, so they have to choose a new ruler. And if someone's lying to him, he will know.
Yeah, right.
Try
So
to lie to that man. You could do it. Dare you.
Yeah. So I think that's why both of John and Bran are good choices, just because neither of them won it, and they just have a good moral compass.
There's lots of good choices. I think that's the thing. Like there were a decent amount of good choices.
Yeah.
But all of them had flaws. Like Bran
Sure.
has probably the least amount, just because he's, like you said, he's so separated from everything.
Yeah.
And he has a good story, and he can't have offspring, so they can't. Like there was reasons for that.
He's the best for the people.
Right. The one thing I tell you what, if they would have just cut this line, out of the whole last episode, I would have felt better about it. Because like I'm okay with it, like I'm not opposed to it. But when he said, "Why do you think I came all this way?" My thought process is like, okay, so how much did you know? like I didn't. I was never under the impression he could see the future. I was under the impression that he could see the past and the present, or that's what I thought.
This man was playing the long con. Like he knew what he was doing. I don't think he can. I don't know what the extent. I'm not going to say I know exactly what the extent of his powers are. But yeah, I mean, he definitely knew what was going on, right? Like
he had to have. He had to have known.
Yeah.
So why else would he say such a smart ass line? I just wanted to okay.
The thing that I keep coming back to is when they said that he was king in the north because John was moving on to other things. So now it's up to Bran, and Bran was like, oh no, I'm the three-eyed raven. I can't, that's not me anymore. But now all of a sudden, when you're offered to be king, it's like, oh, well, of course, that's why I'm here. So I don't know. I still stand by. I think he's a good choice.
He was an interesting one at the very least. I'm okay with it. I was not upset. I was
I'm not mad about the decision.
He was definitely not on my radar at all. Until they got
I'll agree.
He was not on my. Side note, can we talk about Robin for a minute? Just a small minute, like a tiny minute, like a tiny itty bitty minute.
Just how grown up he is.
I was like, I'm sitting here, I'm watching this with Ben. Ben had no idea who he was. I'm like, that motherfucker, look at this guy. This freaking kid right here.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's so grown. I hated him as a child. I probably still hate him now, but look at him.
Yeah.
It's like
he definitely seemed a little more composed.
He did. He seemed way more composed. Like it was almost like heart like oh, look at this. He's not drinking breast milk from his mom anymore. He's all grown up. This is look at him.
He probably still would be if she wasn't dead, but so you brought up the council, and that's another interesting point, because there are a lot of people there that I don't know. I wasn't really sure. Well, I won't say a lot. Like the Dornish house. Like I don't know who's in charge of Dorne, because like all their heirs are gone.
Right.
Like they killed the prince. They killed Oberyn. I don't know who that person was. I don't know if they chose someone else.
Just a seat.
I would have much rather seen one of the Sand Sisters take the lead.
Are they live?
They were in prison last. No, are they all dead? No, they're not all dead, right?
Well, I know one of them died with her mom because she was poisoned.
Yeah, I remember that.
Watch her rot. I don't. Maybe they're
all
dead.
So I didn't even think about that before this. That's a good point. I think they're all dead.
Oh, yeah.
Well, never mind then. So.
Because they went to war or something, right? Like they went to fight.
Oh yeah, they because they captured the oh shit.
I remember Cersei won.
Yeah, Cersei won. So regardless, I don't know no idea who's ruling Dorne right now. So I wish I'd have a better understanding as far as maybe who's ruling over each house.
Okay. It's okay. There's lots of things to keep in track when you're watching this.
There are. It was good to see Sam there at the end, kind of on the council, because he's the head of his house now.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
Sure is. Unfortunately.
Right.
Good, but damn.
Yeah. I guess that sucks. But he's got Gilly and Little Sam, so he's gonna be living his best life. Oh yeah, Little John on the way, and that'll be the actual heir.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So that'll be
the actual
cool.
heir to his house.
Yeah. So it was cool to see everyone kind of come together at the end, and I liked Tyrion's speech, where he was, telling everyone that Brandon.
Did you know that was like a couple weeks, by the way, between him being captured and him going to the council?
I remember he said that.
Yeah, there's like a couple weeks in between that.
Yeah. Like,
it was very untelling. So.
Right. Well, Sutra brings up a good point. Since he's the Grand Maester, he wouldn't be head of the.
That's a good point too. Well, yeah, now technically now.
Or Tarly.
Right. He was, but now he's not.
But speaking of the Tullys, that was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole council meeting there, when I forget his first name, but Sansa's uncle. Stands up and he's trying to make his claim, going off on this rant, and Sansa's just like, "Uncle, please sit down."
Right. That was hilarious.
we don't have time for jokes.
Right. That was
we're trying to make an adult decision here.
Right.
That was hilarious.
So I'm trying to think what all. So let's try to backtrack. Let's start because this is a whole. This is we're kind of recapping season 8, right? I mean,
well,
more or less.
Just the series as a whole, how it wrapped up.
So let's talk about two big things.
Sure.
We'll start with one that was a little bit earlier. Let's talk about the fight, the Winterfell, the Night King battle, right? 'Cause that's a big thing, right? That's a big part. So this whole series from episode 1 literally led up to that fight right there.
Yeah.
That fight was disappointing.
It was. It was definitely
extraordinarily disappointing.
Yeah, and I don't think it's just I don't think it was the episode itself. I think it was the fact that it was so rushed. And I think you could say the same about this whole season, that the content itself wasn't terrible, I don't think, but it just didn't follow the same flow, the same
there was almost cadence. No build up.
It didn't follow the same cadence as the rest of the season. There was just a completely different flow to the season, because they had to get everything out in 6 episodes. And I think that definitely worked against them.
Because my biggest issue with that fight is all that we got that whole fight was a bunch of dead bodies, fighting people. That's literally all that basically was the dead fighting people.
Yeah.
Piles of it. It was crazy. I'm not saying it wasn't crazy. It was really gnarly. We got the best part of the whole thing might have been
the Red Woman?
The one girl who stabbed the giant in the eye.
Oh, Mormont.
Lady, yeah. She was great. That was great. There were some good parts and everything, but overall, first off, what was the Night King's guys doing? His whatever his people, his main people he calls. I don't even know what the hell they're called at this point. His own council. What the hell ever.
So those are, my understanding is because I know we always use the term White Walkers, but it's my understanding that the Risen are just called Whites, and the White Walkers are the ones that...
Okay, so what the hell... that was so disappointing. There were cool parts in that episode. There were. And then, I was okay with a lot of things about it. But, when you look at it, you're just what were they doing? They literally did nothing. They did nothing. There were bodies going everywhere, and that's it.
Yeah, they didn't do everything, or they didn't do anything for the episode. I mean, to your point, there were really cool parts to the battle. It definitely had me on edge. That whole episode, I'm on edge because so much shit's going down. But it just happened too quick.
Yeah.
This should have been in a couple episodes. 2 minimum, if not more, because you've, like you said, you've built up from episode 1, season 1, all the way to now, and then it's just over.
And they kept talking about how it's the biggest fight battle of any movie / whatever. It was bigger than one from Lord of the Rings, right? And but it wasn't as good. It was longer, sure, but it wasn't as good. It felt like the same thing on repeat. Every 10 minutes, it was the same thing on repeat. Let's show bodies. Let's show the dead doing something. Let's show someone in trouble. Let's show this person get saved. and repeat.
Yeah.
Let's show bodies. Let's show them fighting someone. Let's make it a movement. Oh, they got to get pushed back. Let's show someone in trouble. Let's see them get saved and repeat. Like,
I don't know.
Arya's part was probably the most unique.
Like, I think I don't know. I liked it a little bit more than I think you did. Like, I enjoyed the epic scenes, like when they lit the trench on fire.
It was neat. There were neat parts.
And when you see the Dothraki like run out, there, like that's the first thing that happens is you see him run out into this nothingness, and then all of a, like the torches just all go out.
Which that whole part lost its like meaning once
the
Dothraki were back in the next episode. Like that was the whole point. It's like, oh damn, they're all dead.
Yeah, it was back. Very misleading.
Yes, it was extraordinarily
very misleading for sure. I agree with that. It did kind of lose its touch because when you see all those little flames go out, you're like, there went like half the army. Mm-hmm. Like what's gonna happen now?
Actually, my favorite part was Theon. That was probably my favorite part. Was
man.
him and his like little interaction with Bran, and that whole thing was probably my favorite.
You're a good man. Episode. You're a good man, Theon. Yeah, that was good.
That was good. And that was a good death in the movie or in the show. I
definitely don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with Arya being the one that kills the Night King.
No, I don't have a problem with it except for the fact it was too simple. That's my issue, is how simple it was. I wouldn't mind. I didn't care who it was. I think Arya's a badass. I'm okay with that. Too simple.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's been around for who knows how long, and again, no one saw her. No one did anything. Where the hell did she jump from? That angle makes no sense if you go back and look at it. Like, there's a lot to it like that. And I get, stop trying to make logic out of a show like this, but you kind of have to.
I don't. So I'm definitely not one of the people out there that's saying like, oh, sign this petition and have recreate season 8. So many people worked hard to make this, and I think it's very easy to criticize and say how I would have done this differently, but it's not your creative vision, it's theirs, right?
Right.
So you and
it's not so much about the creative vision.
You can't tell someone that the way that they created this is wrong.
Right.
Like if you went into like an art gallery and this artist has all their paintings up and you're like, oh, I don't like that one.
I would have done it this way, right?
Yeah, okay. Well, then you can open a gallery across the street and fucking make one yourself.
Right. No, and I completely agree with that. I'm 100% for this is the writer's show. You don't really, you might not like what happens, but guess what? That's not your damn choice. Like, right. I'm 100% down with that. You
show your support with your money, right?
Right.
Like if you really want to, show that, hey, I don't like it's a little late at this point, and there's not really a whole lot you can do, but you pay with your dollar.
Right, and I agree, but that doesn't mean that we can't criticize things that make no sense.
No, I think it's definitely okay to criticize. Sorry, maybe I was misleading. I think it's okay to criticize, but I don't think it's okay to say that the way they did that was wrong.
Right. I think the White Walker should have had a bigger part in it.
Yeah, and I think that's fair to say.
And I think I'm okay with Arya killing the Night King. 100% okay with that. I mean, it was kind of expected she had some big thing going to happen, right? I just wish we would have gotten... I wish, maybe they would have shown and again, it's their view, it's their vision, it's whatever. It came out of nowhere. I get that point. It's like, oh shit, it's about to happen. Brain's about to... Oh, wow, Arya, what the fuck? Right? That was the moment. But, she left, and after I watched it, things made sense. After I watched it, and the Red Woman said what she did to Arya, and about the eyes of blue, and then it's like, okay, so that was kind of the hint as to what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I just wish it wouldn't have been so out of nowhere. As much as it was a cool ending, but I'd like a little bit of logic to so I could be like, oh, this is what happened,
Sure.
Some people are trying to argue that Jon is saying go at the dragon, yelling at Arya to go, which is complete bullshit in my opinion. If you I rewatched it 4 times to see if that's he's clearly just yelling at the dragon to yell at the dragon. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
It's a legit thing. It's online. People are trying to say that he sees Arya running and he's like, go.
No, I don't agree with that.
He's definitely just yelling at the dragon.
I think I'm not trying to sound hypocritical, because I feel like I just said that, you don't go into, I'll just keep bringing bringing it
You're
back to
fine.
the art gallery. You don't go in and tell someone like, I don't like the way you did this. I would have made it differently. I don't think it's fair to attack the creators of the show, and say that they're doing something wrong. I think that we can have discussions like this. I don't know. I don't know if I'm getting my point across.
If people are that upset about it, then go make a multi-million-dollar TV show and change it the way you want it to.
Yeah, like make your own stories the way that you want to.
If it's that easy, then go do it. Like that's the simple
I don't think
easy.
I don't think people appreciate the amount of work and time that's like hundreds of thousands of people put into shows like this.
Like, I might not like the outcome of certain people, and one person in particular, like definitely one person in particular, I'm very disappointed with the outcome. But that doesn't mean I don't accept it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it happened.
Right.
It happened. I can't say it didn't happen. I watched it happen. It's there.
Yeah.
The only thing that can change that is if J.R.R. Martin makes his book ever, and then I can go off. Like, maybe we get Game of Thrones Brotherhood out of this. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
I keep seeing that online. Like, people are waiting for Game of Thrones Brotherhood.
But like, it's whatever. I accept it for what it is, as it is. Like, it doesn't mean I don't get to be disappointed. It doesn't mean I don't get to be like upset about things. But it is what it is, and that's what.
Sure. I mean, that just shows. Yeah. I'm
Jorah?
not gonna.
Is that right? Am I saying his name right? Jorah.
Jorah
Was a good one. That was a good scene. Like,
where he defended his queen to the end.
Yeah, that was good. That was good on him. He was a badass.
Sure. No, yeah. I think so much happened so quickly it lost its impact. Like, the deaths didn't really like affect me like like I'll still never forget the way I felt watching the Red Wedding. Like, dude, that, like, I was clutching the couch. Like, I was like, there's no way this is happening right now. But
that was crazy.
This whole season, like, every time there's a death, I'm like, oh, man.
Just waiting for it.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe that's I don't know.
So
maybe it's just the expectations were that it's the final season, lots of people are gonna die, so you just don't.
You were just expecting it.
Yeah, I don't know.
So the Battle of Winterfell, like, to kind of wrap this part up of it, like, to me, it was an okay episode. It was neat. It was gorgeous. I didn't have a problem with the darkness. Like, I personally didn't have an issue with the darkness part that people were complaining about. Like, there were a lot of good things to take away from it, but the actual battle itself, other than a few parts, like the things getting lit up and all that jazz, and like the people like sacrificing themselves to make a bridge, like, there are parts that were neat, but the overall battle of how epic this could have been because of the lack of White Walker interaction, I felt was a miss. Like, in my opinion. So if I was to give that battle a rating, I'd give it like a 6 out of 10.
Okay. That's fair. I think that was the last episode that I really enjoyed, that in the sense that I like really felt something. Because the past 2 episodes, like, I felt like I just kind of watched, and then, like, once it was over, I just, like, went back to doing whatever I was doing.
Right.
Whereas, like, there have been some Game of Thrones episodes to where, like, it'll end and the credits will roll, and I'm just like, what did I just watch? What the hell?
The score in that episode was really good too.
Very good.
Especially when the Night King was, like, approaching Bran. Like, that was fucking intense. Yep. That was intense. I agree with that.
So let's maybe, if you're okay with it, maybe let's dive into, like, character specifics. Maybe with how they ended.
Yep.
So you know what? Let's talk about Jaime Lannister. Let's talk about Jaime Lannister, because I'm pretty sure we're on the same page there, and then we can dive into some others. Yeah. What was the point of giving this man, in my opinion, one of the best character developments of the series?
I think Jaime, like, my personal favorite was Tyrion ever since the beginning, right? And he always was.
Sure.
I think Jaime, for the show, was the best character. Like, I would had the best character arc, hands down.
It was. So they gave this man this great character development. You start off hating him. You see him kind of turn around. You see, like, the gears turning. Like, maybe he might change gears, and then the stuff happens with Brienne, and then all of a sudden he leaves her. Like, has that one special night with her, leaves her. She's bawling, brokenhearted. And part of me, the clown that I am, I'm like, you know what? He's actually just going to kill her.
We were like, all like that. It wasn't the clown that you are.
This is a realization for him. Like, you know, I need to, you know, like that was his turning point. Like that's what pushed him over to show him what he needed to do.
He finds out because like Cersei just killed people, just took down this, captured Miss Sunday, all this stuff, and he finds this out. So you're just like, okay, he knows she's gone too far, and he can get into that castle himself, and he needs to take care of this. As much as he might not want to because it's his sister, he knows what needs to be done.
Yeah, it was disappointing, man. Like very disappointing. Like he just went back to die with his shitty sister.
And a fucking dirty pirate killed him, basically. Like,
well,
oh, God. Like, that dude...
I wasn't a fan of Euron ever. Really,
I was not a fan of Euron at all. And, you know, like, and the worst part was, like, he was like, I killed Jaime Lannister. As he was dying because he got stabbed by Jaime Lannister, like a boss, because he went for the kill shot, not these little side pokes. Fucking. Yeah.
But like you killed a man with one hand. I
hope you feel good.
Yeah.
You got killed by a man with one hand. How do you fucking feel?
Yeah, exactly.
But like that's the killer part. Like so, and I've read up a lot, and people are just like, it's to show you that he could never change. It's to show you that Jaime was always Jaime. It's to show you that he, no matter what, chose his sister above all else. And after he slept with Brienne, he looked over at her and was like, nope, can't do this. Need to go back to her. And I'm just like, then they did a really shit job to show that. Like, my God.
Yeah, like you don't. I don't know.
I don't care for the people.
And I feel like I'm starting to be one of the people that I'm
for Jaime, it's okay.
I'm trying to be critical in a constructive sense, I guess.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not here to just shit on the show because I enjoyed. Let me maybe clear that up. I enjoyed the past 9 years very much.
Very much.
Yep.
Gave me
definitely
something to look
enjoyed the
forward to
show
all the time.
What's that?
Gave me something to look forward to every year.
Oh yeah. And looking back on the entire 8 seasons. Definitely enjoyed it. I would still recommend it to someone. You know, like even if you would take away like season 8 entirely, there's still lots of good stories that you can enjoy in there. Suture says love is the death of duty.
Yeah.
That was definitely one of my favorite lines of the last episode.
But here's the thing. I get it. Let's say he did decide that, you know what, he just loved his sister more than anything. Right?
Yeah.
So let's give him that. Because he did a lot of stupid things for his sister throughout the whole show. And every time you thought that he wouldn't, he always still did. He
also raped her next to the corpse of their son, so...
Right. Terrible things. Okay, but point being, like, that's how much he loved his sister. Right? So he loved his sister a lot. Just bear with me, okay?
Yep, I'm bearing with you.
So he decides that he needs, like, all this stuff. But then he went to Winterfell, right? To defend the city, to essentially save Cersei from the he went there to defend his sister, even though she was being a bitch, right? So that happened. Did all these things with Brienne, knighted Brienne, like all these things to make it awesome, which was great, and led up to this just moment that everybody wanted. Everybody wanted that. Everyone was shipping them together. Like that's where everybody wanted. And like even if you want, okay, so. My thought was, even if he wanted to go back to his sister, right, and do all that, you're going to have this man die by a pile of fucking rocks. Like, really? I would have been happier if they just escaped and went away. Like, fuck it. Cool. But
So I've read a few things that people have said about that, because I think the majority of people, when Cersei died by basically all the architecture like crumbling above them, people said, oh, she got off easy, you know, it should have been like a long, painful death. And I think it's easy to say that, but if you look closer, like she died terrified, right?
She was like scared.
She died terrified, almost alone. Like she thought she was alone for a while there. So I think seeing her in denial, like she was definitely in denial when like the city was being torn down, right? She was like, oh, just The scorpions will take down the dragon. There's no more scorpions. It's okay. Then what else does she say? Oh, the ships.
Yeah.
She's like, it's fine. The ships will get them. There's no more ships either.
Right.
And then, like, you can kind of start to see, like, the change in her face. Because she's got a very stoic look for pretty much the whole time, very confident on the outside. But I think on the inside, she realizes that she lost. And to see her, like, finally break, because I don't think there's very many times that you see her break like that.
Right.
Maybe the last time before this was in the, what's his name? The bird. Not the bird. What's his name? The old man. Huh? The High Sparrow.
Oh.
Is that his name? High Sparrow?
High Scepter?
No. The Sparrow guy. The old man. The guy that worked in the Septum. This is when Marjorie was in there. The guy that's working with the Shame Girl.
Oh, yeah. That guy. Fuck that guy.
The High Sparrow, right?
Yeah. Fuck that guy. He deserved
So yeah, I spent so much time trying to explain him to you, I don't remember where my train of thought was going.
No, it's okay.
It was the last time that she had really broken that much. Like, to see her, like, break down. So, I don't know. I think she got she definitely got a pretty,
so,
if not physically painful death, definitely an emotionally painful
let's talk
one.
about her for a second. Okay, so this season, you had two big bads. You had the Night King and you had Cersei. The two big bads. Both of them died like kind of bitches. Like, I'm just going to throw it out there. They didn't, like, in my opinion, they kind of died in, like, just like a non-dramatic way to an extent. Like, yes, the Night King had that moment with Arya, and it was cool when he caught her, and there was that thing. Like, that was cool, but there wasn't, like, a battle. Realistically, between, like there wasn't. Like, Cersei, I get that it was an interesting take to show that Cersei just was no match for Daenerys. That was the whole point of that. I would have been more okay with it if they didn't show how easy one of the dragons could die by the scorpions the episode before. Because the fact that they just fucking missed, like, you're serious right now? You have more scorpions than anything in any other episode, and none of you can hit this dragon? Like...
Yeah, and it'd be another... So, with that scene in particular, it'd be another thing, and I could be remembering it wrong, because it's not like I just watched the episode, but I'm pretty sure that they see the ships, and then the dragon gets shot. So it's not like they even caught it by surprise.
Right.
Do you think I'm remembering that correctly?
No, he got hit. He got hit first.
So, because I thought they came around...
They're just flying around, and then boom, he gets hit.
Okay, I thought they showed the ships around the rock, and then he got shot. Okay,
no,
so that's just me then.
Smacked.
Because I was gonna say if that's the case, like they know that they're there, and he still gets hit.
But like,
it's
still.
And like, I guess you can make the debate that it's Drogon, and maybe he's the more powerful and agile,
bigger target.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Like,
I'm just trying to justify it. I'm not here to...
Like, okay, they just were stormtroopers for the night. Whatever, that's cool. It fucked them up.
Yeah.
But
they're just nervous. It's performance anxiety.
Sure, moving past that.
Yeah.
The whole, like, everything else from that. So, Cersei died in, I think, a terrible, stupid way, but it's okay.
Sure.
I accept it. I accept everybody's death because they wrote the show. Jaime's is probably the death that I'm the most disappointed in. Just not even so much the death as much as just like they just like took his story arc and was like, okay, and we don't need that anymore. And again,
I agree.
Maybe that's the point of his story arc. I don't know, but that's not fair. I mean, it is, but it's not. Like, that's not what it was leading up to. I
don't know, and maybe it's our fault. Like, you know, from
very much so.
Maybe from like the first season when Ned Stark dies, and it threw everyone off because we're like, shows don't kill the main character. Right. Like, what's going on here?
Right.
So maybe that's our fault for thinking that this show would follow traditional storytelling.
Or are they doing these things on purpose to throw us off? Then they don't really care about the story. It's like, what would really throw them for a loop? Oh, what if Jaime just didn't give a fuck? Okay, let's do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I'm interested in the thought process there that, you know, you build up a character for 8 seasons and then all of a sudden you're just like, oh, well, he actually never All that development there, we're just gonna throw it out the window.
Right.
He's just going back to his sister that he's always loved.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe there's some deep philosophical meaning there that I'm just too stupid to understand or appreciate.
Right.
That very well could be. I just, I'm not for it, man. Let's move past the Lannisters.
Yeah.
Or at least Jaime and Cersei.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Daenerys. I'm just gonna go for the big ones, man.
Go for it. So when they were talking, that whole episode was
Who's they?
Well, let's start with Tyrion and Jon, right? So that whole episode started off pretty crazy because, or not crazy. I mean, it was what it is, and it was great, especially when Jon found the guy, the Grey Worm, and they were going to murder those soldiers and that whole thing, right? It was intriguing. But when Tyrion, the balls on that man, went out there. And she was just like, you freed your brother. And she's like, and you slaughtered a city and took his thing.
Right.
Like, I was just clapping hands, man. I was so just like, the balls on that, man. Good on him.
Yep.
So then they go and they talk. And one of my favorite lines is, now Varys' ashes can tell my ashes, look, I was right. Like, that was great.
Still always keeping that humor.
Right, always keeping that humor. And he just, the truth bombs he launches on Jon.
Oh, yeah.
And it killed me to see Jon was still fighting for her.
Still. Like this man is
still
like
wrong.
Yeah, that's the worst part. Like, he knows he's wrong. But also, like, towards the end there, because you can tell, like, he's definitely thinking on it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he's definitely taking what Tyrion's saying to heart.
He's been thinking on it ever since she went crazy on the city.
For sure. But I don't know, like, whenever he'd say, like, she's still my queen.
Right.
I'm like, come on, dude. Like, part of me is just hoping that he's just saying that because, like, maybe someone's listening or...
This is what intrigues me, okay?
Yeah.
So he goes into the room with Daenerys. Daenerys is, like, oogling her thing.
The throne room?
The throne room, right? And they start talking. And you clearly can tell Jon is giving her a chance. He's asking the questions. And the moment she says they don't have a choice, or whatever, however it was, that's when you know it clicked. That she was the Mad Queen.
Yeah, like he went there and he was like, this is it. Like, this is the last chance.
This is it. I'm gonna see what you say. Because she said that the war wasn't over until she controlled the world, more or less.
For sure. Yeah, her idea of liberating and I think anyone else's idea are two completely different things.
Right.
Like, it's not a synonym for murder.
Right.
Right.
So they do the thing. And it was kind of cliche that it happened the way it did, because that's like, I feel like that happens a lot. Like, love.
Well, like, as soon as like the camera just like showed both of them side by side, and he's like crying, he's like, "You're my queen now and always." I'm like, here we go.
I'm not gonna lie though, I did definitely jump out of my couch in excitement when I heard the. Like, I jumped and rolled on my floor in excitement.
I'm not gonna say that I didn't. It's always easier to look back in hindsight and be like, "Oh yeah," like
Right.
But yeah, in the moment, I was definitely like, "Oh my gosh,
Jon, get your head out of your! Oh my God, yes!"
Yeah.
Like, that was the moment, and I was up on the floor. I was rolling around. I was so excited.
Yeah. Love is the death of duty.
Like,
duty is the death of love.
So here's the intriguing part about this. Okay, Jon is an honorable man, much like his father Ned. What got Ned killed in the first season?
Telling secrets that he shouldn't.
Being an honorable man to King Baratheon, right?
Yeah.
He was honorable and
he shouldn't have been telling people what he was doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So what did Jon have to do to save the kingdom?
He had to
break his honor.
Yeah, betray his queen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's an interesting little end there, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah,
I was okay. I actually enjoyed the last episode for the most part. Like, episodes aside, I did enjoy the last episode. I really legitimately did. I was okay with it. Everyone hated it. I was okay with it. And it got to the point to where I went on Facebook and you could see, like, I don't type on Facebook the day after, or like, I still won't post anything like crazy because I'm not that person. But like, oh my God, the amount of hate right afterwards.
Yeah. Well, it just goes back to like what we were saying. It's hard for anyone to be happy that something's ending. So I do want to touch on Joe, but to talk about Daenerys a little bit more. Can we talk about this scene? It might be hard for you to see.
I didn't even catch that, by the way.
Really?
I did not catch that until I saw like a post about it. I was like, oh, that's pretty bad.
Oh my gosh, that scene! Like when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, like that's such a powerful shot. That was so good.
Short-lived.
Oh, for sure. But like, as Jon, someone that like is already having these thoughts, walking up these steps with her army behind you and at your sides, to see that you're like walking up to, just like, I don't know, it's very very symbolic.
Yep.
So I think Daenerys had great intentions and poor execution. I think, originally she wanted to liberate the world, right? She wanted to claim her rightful place, and she wanted to be loved by the people, and she was never going to get that. And I think she saw that when she came to the North for the first time, that she wasn't going to be someone like Jon, who not only is the rightful heir, but is also loved by the people. Mm-hmm. So I think that was definitely part of her going mad.
She just has that Targaryen blood, apparently.
I am glad. Well, so does Jon.
But
I am glad that, regardless of how it happened, the wheel is finally broken, right? So she got her wish, and the wheel is broken. There's no more one house, one bloodline ruling for hundreds of years.
Kind of.
I mean,
Bran is still the king of 6 kingdoms, just not 7, because Winterfell separated.
Yeah, I think that's good.
No, it's great. No, I'm not saying it's bad. It's like the wheel is broken. Like, Bran's gonna be a good king for what they need. There's not gonna be any of this bullshit, right? And my camera's not focusing right now for whatever reason. There we go. But like she got what she wanted, but like she killed so many people for no reason.
Yeah.
It was just. I mean, yeah.
And so the whole Mad Queen thing, I feel like, was really shoehorned in there. Like, it was just kind of like, oh, by the way, we're just gonna, that whole thing that she was saying she wasn't gonna do, we're just gonna throw it in there. Oh, she did it now. She's mad because she saw her friend die.
Right.
Like, well, I think they tried to justify it by having so much happen to her at once. Like, her best friend dies. Well, 2 of her best friends die, really, right? Jorah and Missandei. She's lost 2 of the 3 of her dragons. I'm not saying she hasn't gone through loss, but I don't think that's enough to justify the Mad Queen snap so quickly.
So I will say, like, actually, Cersei had more to justify that than Daenerys. But I will say that, oh my God, words. I had a whole thing I was going to say, and it's just gone now. We were talking about Daenerys. Now it's gone, so I don't know anymore. So George R.R. Martin told the writers where he wanted the books to go, right? He gave them like an outline of, this is kind of my vision of how it's going to go. He didn't give them the details of how it was going to get there. So I feel like the overall outcome was probably how it's going to be in the books, if those ever exist, which they won't, but whatever. I think that the overall outcome is going to be about the same. The how about it gets there, though, will probably be extraordinarily different. Because I can see that happening. So, again, like, I'm okay with what we have. I was thrilled that Tyrion lived. I was super thrilled that the guy I picked from the get-go lived the whole way through. And not only that, he has a good position. He has got the perfect position for himself.
He does, and I like the way that Bran justified it, that, like, that's his way of getting justice.
Yep.
Was you've done this wrong, and now you're going to make it right.
Yeah.
To satisfy Grey Worm. Yeah. I don't know. I know that there's definitely people out there that say that she has been going mad for so long, but I don't know. I feel like we get evidence on the opposite side. Like she definitely does. They even hit on those points to where she's done some pretty crazy things, right? Like she crucified all the
she lets her
the
emotions
slavers.
get to the best of her.
For sure, and that's where
Every
Tyrion comes
time.
in to kind of temper those emotions, right? They mentioned that a few times.
But even then,
in the
she
past
doesn't listen half
episode.
the time because of her emotions. Like,
Yeah. But I never saw her being like this mad queen. Like, yeah, she let her emotions maybe get the best of her, but that's not to say that she's mad, right? Or at least mad in the sense that I think of it. It just felt kind of shoehorned in there.
she wanted to show Cersei that even with a surrender, it wasn't enough, and that she has the power, and she wants to destroy her. And that's what she
Yeah.
did. And that's not a good sign. That's a bad sign.
Yeah. I did like
know.
that Drogon destroyed the Iron Throne. I thought that was cool.
I saw that coming from season 1. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not even joking. Like, I thought from season 1 after I was like, okay, so when this show ends, there's not going to be an Iron Throne.
Right.
This is going to be broken. Something's going to happen to where that's not even going to be a thing anymore. Like, no joke.
Yeah.
But,
Or
yeah.
even if you think back to um shit, I think it was season 1 where the crown of gold thing with
Oh, yeah, with her brother.
with the yeah, like she was pretty cold there, like pretty emotionless, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we would have seen something there. I don't know. I'm gonna get off that topic. I don't want to drive that
Like,
into the
we
ground.
don't have to dive into that too deep, but, like, I mean, he was a terrible person. She knew it. He
For
was
sure,
gonna get in
but
the
like
way.
that's still her brother though, right?
Right.
It's just like how Tyrion like both of his siblings were pretty shitty, but that doesn't mean he's not going to be emotional about losing them.
Yeah, but if her brother dies, guess who gets the throne?
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Amazing how that sits in your
Funny how
mindset.
that works, right?
You know, just throwing that out there. Like, damn,
For sure.
he's a bad person, and if he dies, I get to be the queen. Okay, let's
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah. Shit. What was I gonna?
So
I wanted to touch on. Well, sorry. Go ahead.
no. Go ahead. I was gonna bring a whole nother thing, so you go.
I was gonna talk about John, so I was gonna bring up a whole other thing
Yep,
too.
let's do John.
So, I like John's ending. Not in the sense that I love that they sent him away and he's not with anyone. But I think the North is where he belongs.
I think he has a lot of north in him.
I think that's where he wants to be.
Yep.
And it's my interpretation that when he leaves, like he's going north beyond the wall, he's going there for good.
That's what I think everybody thinks. And
Yeah, like
I would
he's
make
not
sense.
like just going out on like a hunt or something with his friends. Like he's not going back to Castle Black. Like that's where
Right.
he's spending the rest of his days.
Right. They even hint that the winter's over because you see the little green
Yeah,
flower
a little
thing.
grass thing. Yeah,
So no, I think everybody interprets it that way because that's where he belongs. That's what he knows. He knows that life better than a lot of people, and he's good at that life. And
Yeah.
he has a good friend with him. He's a great leader for those people. He's going to do what he can. Like, he's just a good person. And let's face it, the free folk, they need wildlings. They can use the help. They're good at what they do.
Yeah.
But it's always good to have a person who knows every side of it.
yeah,
Like, he knows beyond the wall. He knows the city. He just knows, and he's just a good person.
yeah.
I was
agree.
honestly not a fan of Sansa until this season. She really fucking stepped her game up.
So yeah, she went through a lot of crazy character development too, right? Like she starts off the series pretty annoying, right?
Very annoying.
Like when Arya gets in trouble with Joffrey and gets Sansa's dog killed, and she's, I don't know, she's just doing a lot of annoying things.
Yep.
But then you see her like with Joffrey, and like you start to feel bad for her now. And it just gets worse from there, right?
It gets way worse.
Like she goes from Joffrey to Ramsay. Like she just this girl cannot catch a break.
Right.
But finally she's back home, and you can tell that once she's back home, she is a changed person.
She is, and
Like,
to the
she's-
extent to where she's talking bad even to John. Like,
Yeah, and I'll agree. Like some of that got to be a little not annoying, but frustrating.
Right.
I'm like you like at the time, like John had everyone's best interest in mind,
Right.
I think, and she was kind of not speaking to him in like maybe like a private manner, just like out in the open in front of the people that look up to him as the king in the north, which makes him look weak, and I don't know.
Like it kills me because when you go back and watch, she's like, well, she's not wrong. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Oh
it's
yeah.
like I hate her for it because you're talking bad about my boy John, but I guess technically she's not wrong. Like,
Well,
she
yeah. I
brings
mean,
up good points.
knowing everything that we know now, for sure, right?
She's easily the smartest of the Starks. Like,
She's
fucking smart.
And I don't think if you would have guessed from like season one, I don't think anyone would have guessed that she would have become like the strategist that she became.
She was fucking good.
She learned a lot from Littlefinger.
Yeah, she did.
She sure did. So yeah, I'm happy with the way that she ended in season 8.
And I'm happy that she pointed that out to Bran. Like, good on her. Like, she's like, look, I love you, brother, but I mean, more or less, Winterfell's going to be its own thing. And Bran says, yeah, okay. Like he gives it to her. That was great. That was good on her to give Winterfell what they need, separation from that bullshit, without belittling her brother.
Yeah.
If it's still her brother, I'm still confused on that aspect of it. But still, whatever.
Bran the Broken.
Bran, what a name.
Which I still don't understand how that works too, because he's definitely not the first like Brandon Stark, but they said first of his name. So do like titles count? Like because he's the first Bran the Broken, that makes him first of his name.
We'll just assume, because
like that's the only explanation. But it just seems weird. Like, why would you go off of some made up title? I don't know, man.
Rude, dude. There is a meme. It was hilarious. And it was just like, I might have sent it. You guys, actually, maybe it was in our Discord. It was just like Jamie the Kingslayer is so good that he tried to kill the king 8 years in advance.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Pushed him out. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I saw you post that. That was good. No, I'm interested to see. Well, not to see, I guess, because we won't. But I'm interested why Bran was asking about Drogon. Like, obviously because like it's a rogue dragon, you want to make sure he doesn't come back and try and get revenge. But I'd be interested to see like if anything came from that. Like if Drogon goes to like old Valyria or something, and maybe there's more dragon eggs, and he becomes like the leader of his brood.
And he resurrects Daenerys. And then she
Game of Thrones 2.
Right. Arya I'm okay with Arya and her choice. That makes sense for her.
Hers is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was very good.
Just because she becomes so badass, and I like her explanation of like what she wants to do. That she wants to see like no one knows what's west of Westeros.
It makes complete sense. She's not someone like, as much as everyone wanted to see her. No, as much as everybody wanted to see her with Gendry, like that's just not her. I did. But that's not the point. Like, I'm okay with her choice. That fits her more. 100% that fits her more. And speaking of spinoffs, like that could very well be a spinoff, an Arya spinoff. She's gonna go explore, the other places that we haven't seen. I know we're getting a prequel, right, about the Night King basically prequel thing that
I think something along those lines.
That's
right?
happening, which is good because right now the Night King was just a joke. Like, at least give me something as to what the hell the whole point of this was. Like, why was he after like all this stuff? Like, there's things I need to know. But yeah.
I'm trying to think. We've gone over a lot of the characters. Who have we missed? Who are some of the key ones we've missed?
I mean, we pretty much hit all the big ones. The Hound in the Mountain.
That was pretty emotional to watch. Like,
I'm happy we got the fight because I've been rooting for that fight ever since we were told about
the Clegane Bowl.
Yep, which was great. I think as much. So here's how I felt about that. As much as I wanted to see the Hound just fuck his brother up, I mean, logically that wasn't going to happen. Logically, what we saw happen was probably going to happen.
Like, this dude is pumped through filled with zombie super serum, right?
Oh my god, whatever. He messed up that dude. Like, just and like whoever.
Yeah, just out.
That was the best. Like,
that was freaking Qyburn.
The Hound and Arya's moment might be one of my favorite moments too. In the whole series, when the Hound talked to her, that may have easily been one of my favorite moments in the whole series. Because, like, that was very different for Arya at that point in her life. Like, for her to not do that. Like, for him to say that to her, I mean, dude, that was chills.
Yeah.
Like, because you know he cared about her a lot.
Yep.
And she even grew to care about him. Like, that was crazy.
Yeah.
And as much as it was kind of a weird, like, oh, I'm going to take you off the thing, man, it was a logical thing. Like, it made sense, so I was okay with it. Who knows? The Mountain could still be alive, though. I mean, that fucker got
right.
In the face.
Just a hand coming out of the... I feel like the only way to kill them would be to, like, cut his head off, right?
Right.
Probably. I mean, zombie rules?
Maybe, and then his head...
Well, I don't know, he got stabbed in the... Like, it almost... For sure, like, went through his brain, right?
I mean, right. Ugh.
But that dude was
so
still
that was
kicking.
A good one. I mean, those are pretty much all the big ones that I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really touch on Brienne. I like we did a little bit when we talked about Jamie.
Her writing in the book was amazing.
Yeah, writing in the book was good. That was sad.
Jamie and saying good things, defending his queen.
Yeah.
Like, fucking good on her.
She
loves that fucking man.
That speaks a lot more to Brienne than it does to Jamie. But
100%. That shows how just good and genuine of a person she is.
Yeah,
she was.
I'm glad she became the leader of the King's Guard.
Oh, Jesus, she's a badass. Yes.
Yeah.
like
who else would you have, right?
Dude.
And Pod became a knight.
Yes. The group meeting and what's his face? Bronn got his mini titles. Like.
Yeah. He's the Master of Coin, the Lord of Highgarden.
The whole council meeting was awesome. Like, that was so
good. I didn't like the part where they left Tyrion out of the book. Like, I get that it was like a haha, like, oh, you're not in there at all. But like no, that's fucked up.
Yeah,
that's fucked up. You bring it back to the Citadel and you have him rewrite it.
Right. Like, Tyrion's kind of a fucking big deal.
He's a big deal.
He's the last Lannister.
Yeah, and who knows? Bran might not have been elected if it wasn't for him.
100% wouldn't have been.
So much wouldn't have happened if it weren't for him. Like, come on. You guys are giving him the short end of that stick.
Right.
I guess we didn't really touch on Tyrion either, did we? Like, we've brought him up a few times, but...
It's because he was perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. He survived. He became Hand. He's living out his sentences.
Like,
he's good at what he does.
So happy with Tyrion.
Yep. Happy with Sam. He became Grand Maester, even though
awesome.
I don't understand how he became Grand Maester with just one chain. But I guess it's up to Bran on what he does there.
Damn right. I mean, I'm happy with Jon. I'm happy with Arya. I'm happy with Sansa. I love what happened to Tyrion, and I'm okay with Bran. Like, it was
definitely Game of Starks, right? Like, they were definitely
do own every aspect of things right now, but still.
Yeah.
But is Bran really a Stark anymore?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think he is. Like, maybe, like, he is in name at least, right?
He is in name. That is true. He's so weird. He's gonna be staring at everybody.
What do you think happened to the Dothraki? Like, you see him at the end, and they're just kind of like hanging out at the docks and just like chilling. Like, that doesn't seem like something that doesn't really seem to fit.
They became city folk.
Yeah.
That's what they did. They became
very cultured now.
Very, very cultured.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much, like, we didn't touch on Grey Worm, but, you know, him and his people just went to Noth, and I think that's poetic, right?
I would give that last episode like a solid 8, maybe an 8.5. Like, I really would. Like, I enjoyed it, thought it was great. It was quick.
I think they wrapped up everything that they could.
Right. It was was wrapped up.
That's pretty much what this episode was. It was a wrap-up episode. Like, the death happens in, the first 20 minutes?
Yeah.
30 minutes?
Yeah.
And then, like, the rest of it's wrap-up.
And you wanted to see, I wish they would have shown, like, Grey Worm finding Jon. And, like, how he got captured and, like...
Yeah, they didn't even...
Like, you just, like... I wish that would have been more...
You were just, like, expected to... Like, all of a sudden, everyone's in, like, the dragon arena.
They literally just skip 2 weeks. Like, literally, just boom, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Don't even tell you. Just...
Yeah, so that just goes back to the fact that the season was rushed. And they were offered 10 episodes. Why didn't you take it, you fools?
Dude, when they brought Tyrion to the dragon arena, I totally thought they were going to make him king.
I'm trying to find a balance, man. I'm trying to be the person that doesn't attack. I'm just trying to be critical in a constructive sense, but I'm not.
Look, I mean, it's okay. I accept what has happened. I wish there was more. I wish they would have taken the bigger deal. Obviously, they have the reasons for why they didn't. I heard they were working on a different show or something, which is why the new Star Wars movie, actually. They were working on something, from my understanding.
They're working on the new Star Wars trilogy.
So they had their reasons, and it sucks that I feel like we had to suffer because of it. But it is what it is, and we have what we have.
Sure.
Maybe we'll get spinoffs that'll help clear some things up. I mean, but
they've got like 3 in the works supposedly,
which could be really good. So I mean, that's all I can say. I mean, as a whole, as a series, I mean, it's easily still one of my favorite series. Like, there were there were character arcs that Jamie was the biggest disappointment of the whole series, hands down. Hands down, the biggest disappointment of the whole series is Jamie. And it's going to upset me every time I watch the series again and watching him be awesome just to know that it's just for nothing.
Yeah.
But other than his thing, I could watch the rest of it and be just fine.
Yeah. Still enjoyable, even if, I think it's unrealistic to expect everything you want out of a show.
Yep.
Like to expect everything to go your way. And I think that's what makes this kind of medium so great, because you don't know what to expect.
Right.
And even if you're upset about it, it's still giving you that. I don't know, man. You're alive. You're feeling something.
Yep. Like, it's over. It's never gonna be. You're never gonna have a finale to go the way you want. So you're gonna be disappointed by something almost every time. Other than The Office, it happens every time.
Right. Other than The Office.
And Full Metal.
60% of the time, it happens
every time. 60% of the time. 2 of my favorite shows ended perfectly. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'll give it a. I know you said this last episode an 8 out of 10. I would agree with that. Yeah, the series as a whole, even if I don't, it didn't. The last season didn't end the way that I first saw it. That doesn't mean I hate it.
Right.
I enjoyed it. It was a great 9 years of storytelling. Everyone did a great job.
Yep.
The actors and actresses are some of the most talented ones out there, especially Cersei. I think she was probably one of the best.
One of the best villains of all time has to be Cersei Lannister.
Yeah.
That is a one badass bitch. Like, damn.
Yeah.
I mean,
nothing got in between her and her family, right? Like, she would do anything for her family.
Was a fucking boss. She kind of died in a meh way, but it was kind of like, I don't want to say it was fitting, but I mean, it was just to show how strong Daenerys was and how gone she was and things. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But she was a badass bitch, nonetheless.
She was.
I would not want to fuck with her ever.
Yep. I'm excited to see what the future of television is now, because there's always one ongoing show, right? That like every couple of years that is like this, that it lasts for years. It becomes like a worldwide phenomenon, and like everyone is just excited for that show. So I'm excited to see what the next one's going to be.
I'm curious to see how many people have canceled their HBO subscription now that Game of Thrones is over.
I brought that up.
HBO's going to do.
I brought that up at work and after the episode last night, because if you watched, at least on HBO HBO Go, like they always show like a trailer for something beforehand, but this time they basically showed like everything. Well, it was before still, but they showed like everything, like all their shows. And I'm like, why is this so long? And I'm like, oh, because they want to show people why they should still keep their HBO subscription.
Right. Silicon Valley is still amazing, and we still get one more season of that.
I still haven't seen the last season.
Bro.
I haven't seen that.
So good.
I want to watch that new Chernobyl thing that they have on there.
I want to watch Chernobyl. Actually, I might start that tomorrow.
I want to watch True Detective. Have you watched True Detective, Tim?
I have. I love Woody Harrelson. That's one of Woody Harrelson, right? I love Woody Harrelson. I saw like 1 or 2 episodes, so I probably should watch it because I do love that man.
You should. So I've only seen season 1, but you should watch it. It's really good. I think you would like it. Yeah. I want to watch Barry. Barry, I've heard, is good.
I don't know what that is.
It's Bill Hader. He plays an assassin, but also he's like his true passion is like being an actor, but he's an assassin. So I think there's some comedy in there.
So we'll just see.
Yeah.
But all in all, Game of Thrones was good.
Yeah.
Like, I would say it was good. I'd say season 8 was probably one of the overall weaker seasons of the series, but
season 8 was definitely the weakest.
But it nonetheless wrapped it up. We have our answers to most of our questions in terms of like how this was going to go.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't the answer you wanted. Some of them weren't the answer I wanted, but it was a hell of a series and it was a good ride.
Yep. Don't let the things that didn't go your way distract you from the past, the rest of the 7 seasons that gave you so much, so many memories and things to talk about with friends and family members. Right. I think it's easy to lose sight of that sometimes.
Right.
But that's all. That's my final point on that. I won't keep dragging it out. That's a good stopping point, I'd say, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Well, as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in live on Twitch. This episode will be available on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Podcasts in the next coming days, as usual. So make sure you subscribe on your preferred platform so you can keep up to date with our bi-weekly podcast. Our next one will be our E3 predictions. That'll be June 3rd. It's a week before E3 starts, so hopefully we don't have too many leaks and we can be as hopeful in our predictions as we always are, and we won't get let down too much, I'm sure.
Yep.
We never get let down. We've only been asking for Animal Crossing for however many years now.
It's coming, Trevor.
It is. I mean, it's coming this year. We're getting something at E3, I know it. But appreciate the support, guys. Definitely leave us a comment down below if you like this episode, what your thoughts were, and what you'd like to see future podcasts cover. So as always, appreciate the love you guys show us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.